William Saliba's rise over the last few years has been one of the clearest examples in modern football of talent, careful development and growing influence combining to produce a top-level defender. Born in Bondy, France, in March 2001, Saliba came through youth ranks in the Paris region and made his professional breakthrough with AS Saint-Étienne before a high-profile move to Arsenal in 2019. His early career featured sensible loan moves that allowed him to gain first-team experience in France's top flight, and by the 2022-23 season he had established himself as a commanding, modern centre-back at Arsenal and a regular in the French national setup, a trajectory that has won him both team and individual recognition. On the field, Saliba's achievements combine club silverware, international tournament experience and a string of individual honours that underline how quickly he has become one of Europe's most respected young defenders. With Arsenal he has been part of squads that have contested the very top of the Premier League and picked up domestic honours such as the FA Community Shield. He has also been a regular in Arsenal's defensive corps since becoming a first-team starter. Internationally he was a member of France's senior squad at major tournaments and played a role in France's run to the 2022 World Cup final. Individually, his 2021-22 season in Ligue 1 earned him recognition among the best young players in France, and subsequently he has been selected in seasonal Best 11 list and PFA/Premier League Teams of the Year as his consistency and impact in the Premier League have been acknowledged. These selections, plus inclusion in European Seasonal Teams of the Year and tournament teams at major competitions, reflect both the esteem coaches and journalists hold him in and his statistical influence on games, clearances, interceptions, aerial dominance, and progressive passing out from the back. Playing style is part of Saliba's achievement story. At roughly 1.92 meters, he combines natural physical presence with surprising agility and composure on the ball. Modern centre-backs are judged not only on tackles and blocks but on how they start attacks. Saliba's passing range, his timing in stepping out of the defensive line and his willingness to carry the ball forward have made him an ideal fit for a possession and press-oriented Arsenal under Mikel Arteta. Teammates, managers and pundits increasingly single out his reading of the game, his capacity to organize the back line, and the leadership traits he has shown despite still being in his early to mid-20s, qualities that suggest his long-term ceiling is very high. Match-by-match metrics back up much of this praise, with high numbers of interceptions, clearances and a low error rate relative to minutes played, plus positive marks for ball progression. Saliba's contractual and financial situation is now part of his public profile. After joining Arsenal in 2019, he gradually secured his place in the first team and, amid widespread interest from elite clubs in Europe, committed his long-term future to Arsenal with a new multi-year deal reported to extend his contract to 2030. Reliable news agencies reported the long-term extension in 2025, noting Arsenal's determination to retain him amid outside interest. That commitment is a major career milestone. It secures the club's defensive spine and gives Saliba financial stability while also signaling that Arsenal view him as a foundational player for their immediate and medium-term ambitions. Because players' public wealth is a mix of verified salary, bonuses, market valuation and often private investments or endorsement deals, any figure for net worth needs cautious framing. Multiple reputable salary and contract trackers estimate Saliba's gross wages with Arsenal to be in the upper ranks of the club's payroll. Several trade sites list an estimated gross weekly wage in the ballpark of £190,000 to £250,000, which, when translated into annual gross figures and projected over the length of his contract, before tax and agent fees, implies very substantial career earnings. Transfer value trackers place his market value comfortably among the highest for defenders in Europe. Transfermarkt figures have shown values in the many tens of millions of euros. Those two facts, a large ongoing salary and a high transfer/market valuation, are the core, verifiable financial assets that underpin any sensible estimate of his wealth. Estimates of Saliba's net worth appearing in public outlets vary considerably, a common pattern for active athletes whose off-field earnings and investments are not fully disclosed. Specialist salary sites and databases that aggregate contract information estimate his remaining guaranteed gross contract earnings and project career income. For example, some databases summarize his contract as worth many millions in gross terms over its remaining years and place his annual gross salary in the low to mid tens of millions of pounds. Other popular net worth aggregators produce lower single-figure or mid-single-figure million estimates, but those sites often use inconsistent methodologies and should be read as rough indicators rather than audited valuations. The cautious conclusion is that Saliba's principal, verifiable financial assets are his Arsenal contract, salary and remaining guaranteed payments, and his market value, both of which place him comfortably among the wealthier young players in world football, but without a public, verifiable breakdown of investments, property or additional business interests it isn't possible to state an exact net worth figure with certainty. Public reporting about Saliba's other personal assets, homes, car collection or endorsement portfolio is limited and often speculative. Unlike a handful of global superstars who have frequent, documented endorsement deals and visible business portfolios, there is less consistent public evidence of major commercial partnerships in Saliba's name that would materially alter his net worth profile. That does not mean he has no such deals, only that they are not routinely reported at the level of multi-million-pound lifetime contracts in authoritative outlets. From a conservative perspective, the bulk of his confirmed economic value today comes from his salary, bonuses and the transfer market value attached to him as an elite centre-back. If and when he signs significant long-term endorsement deals, property purchases that are publicly disclosed, or engages in visible entrepreneurship, those would be the elements that push a publicly stated net worth higher and allow for a more definitive public estimate. Beyond raw numbers, Saliba's achievements should be read in career context. He is still young for a centre-back and has already accumulated top-level experience, Champions League and Europa League minutes with his club, international tournament experience with France, including a World Cup final run, domestic trophies at club level and multiple individual seasonal recognitions. For a player in his position, those are not small accomplishments. Combined with the long contract and the market's continued valuation of him as a premium defender, they indicate both present value and substantial room for future growth, whether that comes through winning major club trophies, further international success, or continued development that could eventually make him one of the top defenders of his generation. In short,